super cuts or something.
I
got nipped in the ear one time at one of those places. I said,
like a super cuts or something.
Yeah, they were like pissed off and they were cutting my hair. It's like, why don't y'all slow down? And she nicked my ear.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll pay for the nicer haircut.
Yeah, I just walked out. I said, I ain't paying you for this.
Yeah, thanks for
transmitting some disease.
Thanks for the ear bleeding.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Happy Thursday.
Hey, back at you, man. It's nice to know what day of the week it is because I know where I'll be on Thursday.
We made it. We made it again.
Yeah.
Another week.
Another 7 rounds, seven revolutions.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty tired today, but I'm going to try to amp up the energy.
Well, you don't have to. Just be you. We don't want you to have to work hard at this. That's the whole thing about this podcast. It's supposed to be easy.
Oh, I like that.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Thanks for the reminder.
Life is supposed to be like that, but we know better than that.
Boy, howdy.
Life ain't easy.
It's not.
But it's all we got.
You can fall into the trap of making it harder than it has to be.
You can. Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Yeah, absolutely.
I've also done that.
Yeah. But we're just humans.
That's it.
Bipedal carbon-based entities.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just human.
We're just bags of meat on a rock hurtling through space.
A meat puppet.
Yeah.
That's what they call us.
Well, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Black Dog Salvage podcast.
Yeah. I haven't read any comments. I don't know if we got any, but
I haven't either. I got to pull them up. But let's play the intro and we'll get into it.
Okay. I love this tune. There it is.
There it is. Branded sound. Everybody likes some branded sound.
Yeah, we did that, about 3 years ago, I think?
Yeah, it was funny because that wasn't done by the same people that did the show.
No.
Because Trailblazer did all that in-house.
This was a company in England.
Really?
Yeah, it was a cold call is how we got it, and the guy had been handed off. Our number had been handed off to this supervisor, and he says, "Well, it's going to be." The guy prefaces the whole thing with, "It's not going to take long. They're going to say no."
Yeah.
And the guy got on the line and says, "This is what I'm pitching," blah blah. So I'll listen to you pitch. I don't know why I was weak at that time. And turns out that we came up with the agreement where they generated this sound from parts of the show jingle.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They took the audio file and just sort of changed things around.
Yeah, added. We went through a couple of different variations, or had more, country, more acoustic, more electric. This is kind of a blend of it all.
Yeah, I have these other ones too. There's that. It's that distorted. Guitar sound. And of course, that's the tag.
Right. See, there you go. Brand sound.
Yeah. And you know it's Salvage Dogs when you hear it.
The best money can buy.
Well, so let's get into the comments from last week. Everyone, this is season 2, episode 3, the Black Dog Salvage podcast. Last week we were talking about the not Trenton, the New Jersey.
Yeah, Trenton.
Nope. Edison.
Oh, Edison.
Edison, New Jersey farmhouse. The real hot one. I titled that episode "Hot Lasagna in the Summer Heat."
Hot lasagna is better for somebody else to eat it than me. Poor old Clark. We were early friends at that point, and we were testing our friendship with hot lasagna on a 98-degree day.
I think I remember being fine with lasagna, but when you guys raised the point, I was like, yeah, that is a little weird. Hot meal in the hot sun.
Cold cuts. The cold in the cuts.
One comment from someone named Fly Fisher 63
nice.
Said, I have a photo with Mike. Smiley face.
Yeah.
Very nice of him to take with me last fall in the shop.
Oh, cool.
I wear my Black Dog Salvage hat proudly all over Raleigh. When is the Virginia Magazine article due out?
I don't know. Stay tuned. Subscribe to our newsletter, and I'm sure it'll be just sign in on social media, and it gets out there. But I don't know when it's happening. We just did the interview. I took pictures for it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was before last week's show.
Rob
and I were posing.
You had your fancy black shirt on.
We're posing, baby. Yeah, we don't do that much anymore.
I know.
I mean, I pose for. I take that back. I pose for pictures every day at Black Dog.
Sure, but
every day.
It's not an organized campaign. I remember when you guys were spokesmen for Honda.
Honda, yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was a blast.
Because you got a free Ridge or free to use.
It was a free
line.
lease for about a year and a half, and
yeah,
and then they sold and took it back.
Hey, a free car to drive.
Yeah,
a year and a half.
It was all right. Honda's good cars.
Yeah, it's a car truck
for a car.
Yeah, yeah. It was a car with a bed.
Yeah, it wasn't a good truck.
Yeah.
I mean, because I treat it like a truck. I knocked the back window out of it. I did all kind of weird stuff to it. I mean, I put some miles on that thing. Probably a year and a half. I put over 30,000 miles on it.
Hell yeah.
I was looking. That was my pilot car, my scouting car.
Pretty good scout car, really.
Yeah. You put some gear in the back, and I loaded it up every once in a while.
I remember driving it to the beach a few times.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Parkers.
Well, today we're going to be talking about the Eiffel Tower replica. That, of course, is the cornerstone of this episode. Season 2, Episode 3, originally aired January 23rd, 2014.
Awesome. Early. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this was in Columbus, Ohio.
That part was,
yeah. And the beer district, as I remember.
Oh, nice
memory.
And
there was a bunch of brews down that way.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't hang out into the beer night. We just got in, got out, and
it was an interesting section of Columbus because it was sort of up and coming. All these old industrial buildings were getting redone into breweries. I mean, breweries what saved
a lot of it.
Craft beer is what saved old architecture.
Absolutely,
It's crazy how that happened.
Well, that's it's just it needs a purpose,
mm-hmm.
and once the purpose is redefined, it's not a good manufacturing facility anymore because that industry died. So live there. Work there, play there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key parts of placemaking.
Live, laugh, love.
All that, all that too. So anyway, that's where we were. So, but as always.
But first,
what?
The wow.
Oh yeah.
These were you came in with Ted. You and Ted came in with some terracotta warriors.
Right. And if anybody knows what Robert was going, are they real? I said, yeah, really, Robert.
Yeah.
Like I'd have a real terracotta warrior.
I think he said Qi Shin or anyway, but at some point
they unearthed this. It's not a pharaoh, but
an emperor,
Chinese emperor, and he basically had to make, I don't know, thousands of warriors and cannons and the whole army basically, and it was buried. And I don't know if it's just buried or buried over time, but it's now a feature where you can go take a look at. And these are knockoffs of that. Pretty nicely done though. Terracotta. They weren't fired. They were baked. It wasn't very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
here's a little bit of it. Qin Shi Huangdi, probably saying that super wrong. He was the emperor of China in 221 BC.
Okay.
And underground was a treasure, an entire army of life-size terracotta soldiers and horses interred for more than 2,000 years.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They discovered them in 1974. A group of peasants digging a well in a drought-parched province in northwest China unearthed fragments of a clay figure. First evidence of what would turn out to be the greatest archaeological discoveries of modern times.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to the peasants.
Yeah.
Keep shoveling, buddy.
They were pushed aside, I'm sure. Wait. There's something in there? Get out of the way.
No. Hey, go get a bunch of your buddies. We got a dig to do. And it turned out to be one of the wonders of the world, so to speak. This was replica. It came out of a Chinese restaurant. So it wasn't
a knockoff of a knockoff.
It wasn't all that. And of course.
Did that really happen? It came out of a Chinese restaurant?
Yeah.
You said in the show you said you paid $100 each for it. Was that right?
I think it did.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Was it a local restaurant?
I think it was over in Bedford or someplace. Somebody had taken them out, put them in storage somewhere. My grade matter 2014, so it's it's quite a while ago.
Almost 10 years ago.
Excuse me. Yeah. So They were in a little bit of distress and very fragile.
Yes.
It just really, it had a little bit of horsehair in it, but it didn't. It was fragile. And of course,
this was more like plaster or something.
It was terracotta.
Yeah.
It was definitely like a brick. Made of the same stuff that bricks are made, except that terracotta is. Now that's another good question for Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is terracotta? Anyway,
I'll look it up.
Terracotta is we've used a lot of it for when it's fired and for drain pipes, sewer pipes back in the day. So
terracotta is Italian for baked earth.
Perfect.
Literally any kind of fired clay, but in general usage, a kind of object like a vessel, figure, or structural form made from fairly coarse, porous clay that, when fired, assumes a color ranging from a dull ochre to red and is usually left unglazed.
Right. But so there's different ones, like the sewer pipes that were terracotta were glazed. So those were fired. These were baked. These weren't fired. You could tell because it was brittle.
Right.
But it had quite a few cracks in it.
And they had been like glued back together a bunch of times.
And we, again, we kind of loaded the front end of this thing up a little bit because we've had these guys for a while.
Yes, they were kind of fixtures around.
They were. They moved around a little bit. Every once in a while you come in and the next day and they'd be in another part of the building. I'm just saying. I don't know what happened. But one of them was in distress a lot more. So, to add some Mike Whiteside to the mix.
Yeah.
You drove the forklift, I think.
Yeah. So this was all premeditated.
Yeah.
I was driving the forklift. We were quote unquote unloading them.
Yeah. And what happened? I mean, that was planned. But what wasn't planned is falling off of that thing at 2 feet off the ground.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember if that was.
I wasn't planning on rolling, and once I figured out that I'm not stopping yet. I hadn't hit the ground yet. I said, "Oh hell," So I rolled.
Oh, you didn't realize how high off the ground you were. That's probably my fault.
And that's
actually.
well, I mean, it worked out perfectly because I did the old back roll and the old man on the ground. That was to be seen in future episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. You play the old man on the ground
and
a few
it
times.
breaking into 50 pieces.
Yeah, it's so good.
And the head survived.
Did it?
Yeah. The head survived and an arm survived. So we, cleaned up what was there and we took them and put them in and sold them separately.
Perfect. Yeah, for probably the same price.
No. We kind of sacrificed. I didn't even give them a name. The terracotta number 2, I guess. And but that was all planned. That was and of course Robert played the. You've screwed the pooch now, Mike, whatever.
Well, you could kind of tell that it was staged by the lack of severity in Robert's voice, because I've broken stuff in reality that Robert liked a lot, and I've seen he was way madder than that.
I love it. I love it. I love it when he breaks stuff, Yeah, it's serendipity, so to speak.
It feels good, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, it does. But no, we're going to break stuff. It just happens, That's why people like our show because we're fallible, and we emphasize it. You want me to clean up the mess I just made?
Clean up the thing you just spilled on the table
right.
there.
I was just going to watch the bubbles come up. Anyway, see, there you go. I had an accident right here.
There it is.
Right.
He's authentic, folks.
Yeah, anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
that was funny. The stage drop and just.
Yeah, and after that show, we definitely sold one. And of course, right away, whoever bought the first one says, "Do you have 2?"
I
had 2,
yeah.
But it was in terrible shape. And matter of fact, I saw Herman the German in the background.
Oh, okay. So we had Herman.
We had Herman at that time.
Well, yeah, no, we talked about Herman the German.
That was in
season one. Yeah.
So he was still there. And we sold him for somebody.
He stayed in the parking lot for a long time.
We put him in the parking lot. We moved around the parking lot. Put him out front.
Yeah.
Just nobody was going to steal him. That was the good part about that.
Right.
And of course, we had some people because it was kind of like 1.5 scale.
Yeah, it was bigger than a real horse.
It had a big old, posterior on it. And, I don't know how high his sword was, but I miss old Herman the German. I had to go out to 311 and visit him one time. Remember we put him up?
Oh yeah. I don't know that the guy would like all of that.
No, we're not giving location. If you find him off 311,
it's well earned.
Yeah, there you go. So what else we do? We had a build.
Did have a build.
Yeah.
We can touch that real quick. It was in the show. It was Grayson that brought this build to you.
Right.
As sort of like, I have this idea,
right,
but I need your help to make it happen.
Yeah.
Is that how that happened in real life?
Pretty much. I mean, we worked together on stuff, and she brought some ideas, and then we put it ended up being what it became, is desecrating literature. We didn't burn them. We just drilled holes in them.
That's better than what Ray Bradbury wrote about, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Was that Fahrenheit? No, Fahrenheit 451. Okay. Or 1984.
1984. You're talking about?
Is that the book about
Orwell?
Yeah, when reading becomes banned and they destroy all the books.
Yeah,
is that 1984?
Yeah. We passed that.
Yeah.
Reading is not banned.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's
encouraged.
It's on a renaissance.
It's not done enough.
Yeah. Read, people. Don't. I mean, I'm a listening on the phone, on the earphones.
I'm such a bad reader.
I am too.
Well, I can do it. I just don't choose not to.
I know, it's terrible too. I mean, it's. I'm always on the run. Some podcasts have ruined. Well, I wouldn't say ruined, but it's. I mean, how many people read now? I mean, and that's not that it's, a dying art.
Yeah, I'd say 50% of my close friends are readers, and the other are like me and don't really care to read much.
I like because I got bad sight, and of course I'm sure I got some kind of deficiency, ADHD, XYZ.
I have that for sure.
So focusing on stuff is kind of difficult. So I listen to audiobooks a lot and podcasts. So there you go.
Who would listen to a podcast anyway?
I don't know, man. They're everywhere. Everybody's making one. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
But anyway, the project that Grayson brought to you was a floor lamp,
right?
Made 50% out of a stack of books, really. Right. Wooden top in the middle, and then a pole, and then a lamp top.
A shade, yeah.
With a shade made from door escutcheons.
Door
escutcheon plates.
Escutcheons, exactly. And they were plentiful. And so I wasn't involved with that. So I don't know.
Mike Pay did that.
Mike Pay.
Because what had to be done for the shade was, if you hadn't seen it, the shade is sort of an oval shape, and all the door escutcheons were vertically stacked and lined around this. But most of them are brass. So I remember Pay had to braze them
onto the steel,
onto these brass oval rings. I don't know how they made it. I remember it took him most of a day.
Probably took an old shade and took the paper, took the fabric off of it. So now you have this form.
That would be smart.
That would have been smart.
Probably what he did.
Probably is. But again, it just came up done, and we were off doing something else. I mean,
right.
I don't know, why did Grayson not start the roundtables yet?
I don't know either.
I mean, because it doesn't make any sense. She'd been with us for a while now. And
I wasn't offering much.
It's
not like we didn't have room for a fifth person.
It's going to be interesting. And I don't know when she joined the roundtable, but it'll be interesting to see when that is. But it's just observations, because she's in the show.
Yeah.
She's, part of our team. And, of course, you and Ted and Mr. Roberto are there. But, just an observation.
But the build was neat because the bottom half, again, was built out of books. And they just used a spade bit or a Forstner bit to drill a big hole in the middle of about 20 books.
Books are very hard to drill.
I mean, it's kind of like wood.
It's worse.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have the compaction and the hard edge. So, there's inside the book, unless you compress it, it's a lot of air. So it end up kind of tearing it up a little bit.
Right.
And so you go in clean, tear up the middle, go out clean. So this is just in case.
How many people have had that experience?
Yeah, I mean, how many books have you drilled lately?
Yeah.
Not many.
You helped her with that first part, right?
Yeah, and we had to compress it, because if we didn't, this whole thing would have been loosey-goosey. So I think at that time I may have had a book press I bought from someone.
No kidding.
Yeah, and so this has basically a big steel platform, 2 big rails, and then a big wheel.
Yeah.
That you could screw it down, and I think I used that to compress it. Then we put clamps on it, and
you put all thread through the middle of it.
Yeah. You couldn't pull it all down with all thread though, because it would kind of distort.
Right.
So you had to compress the whole thing, get the top and bottom together.
Right. You had to use the wooden top
and then lock it down. Yeah.
Damn.
So whoever has that lamp, don't ever take the nuts off of it.
It's a loaded spring.
It's going to blow. Yeah. Yeah. It turned out good though. We haven't built one since. That was. I mean, we should because we
probably sold the book press. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sell everything eventually.
That was a really unique build. I would say one of the more unique ones we've done.
And it was fun getting Grayson involved because
she loved it.
She did. She was always up for the challenge.
I was always happy I'd work with her later on in the show a few times in the shop, and that was always fun to work with her. She was she picked things up really quick.
And pleasant.
And then just nice to be around.
Nice, yes. Thank you. Grayson, if you're listening to us, we love you, dear.
Now mom of two.
Mama too.
Love you so much.
Yeah, that's
Miss
right.
you, actually.
Yeah, it'd be nice to come back. I know you got baby duty. And, and I'll see you in about 16 years. It's about when your babies
come out of the fog.
Your babies will be leaving the roost. Yeah.
Well, we're moving on to the main event, the salvage.
Right.
The Eiffel Tower.
And how we got this job is, and it's kind of a little ass backwards, but the guy that we met, or that drove up with the truck with Columbus Architectural, Chris Sawyer, great guy. He got us that job.
Okay.
Basically, it was too much for him, and he somebody out there.
I don't know. Oh, it's Walker.
Okay.
So the local Columbus Architectural Salvage Company brought it to Black Dog.
He told us about it. He knew about the show, and of course, with the salvage community is pretty small. So so he let us know, and we did the deal and rounded up the troops and went and did it.
Would you say the salvage community sort of looks out for one another?
I would say so. I mean, there's so much of it and so little us.
Yeah.
Meaning people in the salvage business.
There's way more salvage than there are salvage companies.
Oh gosh, yes. So. I mean, I turned down today more than I've ever turned down, and try my best to focus them over to another salvage area.
Just today, you had a
no. Well, I did. Yes.
Oh, just meaning now.
Yeah,
these days.
These days.
Yeah,
I did. It's
like damn, it was a big day, huh?
It's huge. Yeah. So that's how we got it, and
did he just not want it?
Well, that wasn't an easy extraction.
Sure.
I think he wanted it, but he didn't have the manpower or the knowledge to take it down. And I think he probably did have the knowledge because if we can do it, anybody can do it. And especially the way I did, you just had to be crazy to tie yourself onto a failing structure with a good. Now it was a good rope. Don't get wrong.
Just one piece of rope. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but yeah.
So anyway, that's how we got it.
So it was a 1990s ish 40-foot tall Eiffel Tower replica. That's what we're talking about.
And this was a French restaurant back in its day. The Eiffel Tower. It was really nice. I mean, still is, by the way. We still have it.
Yeah, really? Yeah. On y'all's premise?
No. And that's one thing I think Robert said in the show is, Mike's going to want to put it up at Black Dog, and Robert doesn't want to put it up. And it's like, come on.
I know. We never did put that together.
Not on our property.
And I was kind of excited about the prospect of reassembling it.
Yeah, so we'll go right to the chase on where it is now, and we can finish up this part of the episode. It's over near Lynchburg, Bedford area. Yeah. At some manufacturing recycling facility. We gave it to someone we know here in town. Yeah. And he was having an issue with the city. Imagine, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So the city was kind of after him because he was putting things on his property that probably weren't coded for, like, circus events, fairs,
and
carnies. Yeah. And he always had some good stuff. So he put this up there as kind of a poke in the eye of the local code inspector.
I mean, literally, it's perfectly shaped for a poke in the eye.
And I didn't care because, I didn't put it up. What you going to do? You're going to find me because we own it. Which they probably could have. And
careful.
And so that's how it left from us. We cleaned it up, made sure it could go back together because we had to cut it up pretty good.
And they welded the hell out of it too, so it had to be cut.
We had to cut some stuff off, So we were on top. I'm on top of this thing. Tay's driving the forklift.
Yes. Yeah. I for some reason remember being somewhat out of it that day. Yeah. I was a little distracted. So that part wasn't just amped up for TV. I think I was caught not paying attention at one point.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I was on the extendable reach forklift.
Right. And it wasn't big enough, evidently. We didn't realize that,
It was a big wall.
The wall.
That guarded it.
And he didn't want to take the wall down. So, I mean, we could have knocked that wall down in a second. But we, normally we go up with a man lift and do our stuff from a basket. And this was early days again. And I'm a cowboy, like I always said. So I'm gonna climb this monster. It's just a big playground set,
right?
It's all.
And it is only 40 feet. Like, it's manageable.
What can happen?
You fall 10 feet. And
hurt
yourself.
Well, you can do it in less. But I had my gear on, my climbing gear. Not the right climbing gear, but I had climbing gear on that was,
Well, what you had on was a fall harness, not a climbing harness.
Right, and a climbing harness has a center point.
Yeah.
And so I improvised, and I had a good piece of rope that I trusted because I used to climb, rock climb when I was in the Navy, just for fun, and wasn't very good at it.
Well, how good do you have to be at it?
Well, you have to be good enough not to fall.
True.
So I guess I was good enough.
True.
And I never fell. I never fell off of anything during the show. I mean, I never.
You had some close calls.
Yeah,
you almost fell off a roof a few times.
Yeah. Well, but those were close calls. I mean, I never dangled from the lanyard.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah, we never had to use my fall protection certification.
You were a safety officer, and I was looking for you for guidance.
Eventually, not in this episode.
So
I would have had a big issue. So I
climbed
with that.
up. I needed my hands free, so I roped in. And these are
it's
not
a loose term, but yeah.
No, it was good. I mean, I trusted it. I mean, I may look reckless, but I'm not.
Well, you do know how to tie some knots.
I do.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, and I'll. That's another podcast, by the way. Not tying.
Not
with
tying.
Mike Whiteside. Yeah, and I could do that. But anyway, so we were up on top of this thing, and we're trying to figure out. We got to cut it. The first part we had to cut loose pretty well because it had been scarfed in and welded like it was never going to come off, and it wasn't. I mean, this was fairly thin wall stuff.
Yeah, most of it was like 1.5 inch tubing, square tubing that was made up, and it was in sort of 4 distinct sections,
right?
That you could see how they built it, and so the idea was just to undo that, cut where they meet.
So we had the top section, which was the money. So to speak. That was the hardest because we didn't have the reach we wanted. So we had to pick it up from the bottom, and I'm up there, yelling at Tay, pay attention to me up here.
I mean, this is the first time where we start showing our creative communication style.
Yes.
The made up hand signals and I mean, rightfully so. You're up in the air and dangling, or something's heavy. You get a little impatient, right? And the hydraulic controls don't react super fast, or I wouldn't want them to, because you want to eat. Well, you screw it up, you're going to drop something, or I'm going to hit you, or something. So you want to be easy on the controls, but I want to give you the movement that you want when you want it. So there was a.
So this was early on in our collaboration of the Flying Whitesides.
That's right.
Tay was the operator. Obviously, much better than I am. I'm a little herky jerky. You played a lot of video games in your life, so you had that finesse.
Yes.
And they're proportional control. So you put a little, give a little, put a lot, get a lot, and so you got to learn how to control that in the field. Every piece of equipment is different.
Everyone, I had to learn on the fly, sort of. And meanwhile, you're hanging from something.
I'm up there trying to get something off the top. Of course, they do a cliffhanger right at the second commercial.
Yeah.
That oh my God,
no, and you hear this like crashing noise, and I'm like, I couldn't for the life of me remember. Like I think
they threw it in there.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't think I hit anything. No. We didn't drop anything, but it was well done because the way they cut to people's reaction. Robert looking up, holding his head. Whoa, God.
Yeah. So you look at any reality show out there, or any show in general that has sections. There's a cliffhanger. There's always something.
They want you to stick around for the commercial break.
Yeah, you got at least go through the 60 seconds of commercials.
Yeah, if only.
Whatever. Yeah. I wish I could. Well, you can still do that today, but I'm too damn cheap.
Just buy Amazon Prime.
Is that what it is?
Prime Video.
Yeah.
I have the Discovery Channel on Prime. What a racket. a Discovery Channel on Amazon Prime Video.
Yeah.
That's how I watch it.
I need to look into it.
I'll give you my password.
Oh, there you go. They're going to take that away pretty soon. They say.
I steal your Netflix, so you can steal my Amazon.
Grayson calls me up all the time. What's the password, Dad?
Oh, my God. Just save it. Yeah. I haven't had to re-enter it.
I forget every
2
time.
years.
I can't remember anything. So passwords, LastPass is obviously a thing that's helped me a lot.
Yeah. Not a sponsor, but could be.
Yeah, LastPass.
I got to say, I did some looking because I was trying to figure out what that building was. I was trying to find like what it was called and when it was open, and I couldn't find anything about the French bistro. But I did discover that Columbus, Ohio. This was not the first scale replica of an Eiffel Tower in Columbus, Ohio.
Get out.
In 1950 to like the mid 70s, there was a 22-foot tall Eiffel Tower at the Great Western Shopping Center, and so they had an Egyptian pyramid model.
Wonders of the world.
Yeah, that was essentially what it was.
How about that?
And because when you search in Columbus, Ohio, Eiffel Tower, that's what comes up in spades. And then about the 5th or 6th link on Google was a website called salvoweb.com.
Yeah.
And this exact Eiffel Tower that you guys salvaged, that we salvaged, is actually right now as we speak still listed for sale for $22,000 on salvoweb.com.
SalvoWeb, I think, is UK, isn't it?
I don't know.
It
seemed like American dollars, but
it might be.
And it said, it's at Black Dog Salvage. It was featured on the TV show. Like it was the one that we took down.
Well, if anybody's interested, it's cheaper than that now.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you if did you know about that, and is it still?
Well, I didn't know about that. I remember SalvoWeb somehow. It was they trying to do a clearinghouse.
Another aggregator.
Everybody lists. There's kind of like an eBay for salvage. Mm-hmm. Nobody's ever successfully done it yet. So, and I'm too doggone lazy and old.
Black Dog tried for a little while.
We tried, and so it's hard. It's hard to sell this stuff. I think I've said this many times through the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
It's easy to get, hard to sell. But we have a double size of the original. The 20-footer, 22-footer. This was 45.
40 feet.
40, I think 40 plus.
Call it 44. Nice. The 2 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
we'll build platforms under it.
So we had, it was obviously tapered in. So we used that as the way to pack it.
Oh, you nested it.
I nested the second section inside the third section and the top section inside the second section. So they all kind of piled together on the.
Like Russian nesting
other
dolls.
than that, I'd have a 45-foot doggone thing hanging off the back of the truck.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Which will happen.
I've done it, but it doesn't mean that it's safe. And we. But anyway, that's how we had to break it down.
Yeah.
And of course, part of this whole thing, it was kind of funny, which really got a lot of hits, and was Ted's bee encounter.
For a guy who's allergic to bees, he sure is brazen when it comes to battling the bees. He'll get right in there and show no fear.
Yeah.
And he needs an EpiPen if he gets stung.
He carries one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he always carried one. Make sure that
always blew my mind.
Yeah, I just wanted to know where it was, because Ted always had a little go bag.
Yeah.
And I think the EpiPen was in the go bag.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Amongst other things.
Necessities. The bees didn't come out of this thing until we got to the bottom section.
Right.
So they were nested somewhere in the bottom of it.
And that was a bigger section, tubing section down.
And it was 4 individual legs, kind of,
and
right?
we had to take each one of those off. And,
Yeah.
and then we were at that point where we were breaking the 4 legs apart.
Mm-hmm.
And but they, the people were going like, "You're killing bees." I said, "These weren't bees."
Who said that?
Somebody online. I mean, he got a lot of blowback on that. And these are not honeybees.
They're yellow jackets, man. They hate everything.
Yeah. Especially,
Save the honeybees.
Especially salvage guys with cutting wheels in their hand.
They hate you for sure.
Yeah, and I know that's fair. But
I hate bees.
I'm not a.
They drive me nuts.
Honeybees. I like honeybees now because I've heard that they're medicinal.
Honeybees.
A honeybee sting.
Oh.
Is the venom is medicinal for joint aches and what ails you.
Can you put that in a gummy?
I don't think so. I think you have to have it localized.
You have to get it.
I mean, like you're having you got a bad hip or you got a bad knee, you can go buy them Of course, we got honeybees right by us, but
Yeah.
you buy 5
Just go
of them.
slap them around and get a.
No, you
get
just
a,
grab
get a
them and
dose.
you put them on your skin, let them sting you, and then you pull them out, and of course they're dead. But
Yeah.
it's medicine.
It's a one-time use, locally injected medicine.
Use and throw away.
Yeah.
I hate to say that about honeybees, but that's
Honeybees do more for. I mean, there's all kinds of talk about how the bees are becoming less and less, and what would happen if we lost the bees.
Well, we'd have to figure out how to pollinate plants.
Right.
That's the main thing. Of course, we'd have to figure out how to make honey. Of course, the Chinese have already make synthetic honey, so they already know it.
There you go.
So
there you go, bees. You're old news. You're old news now.
Your new news.
Yeah.
Because we live across from an orchard called Jameson Orchard.
Oh, yeah.
And they have hives all up the mountain. And so, of course, local, and we eat it. It's local honey, so it's supposed to help your immune system because you're eating honey that's where you're living.
It's got local allergens or whatever in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If the pollution in the water is the pollution you're drinking, it's the same thing, so you're kind of bolstering your pollution.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's awful smart.
Yeah, the bees got it going on, man.
Yeah.
I hear.
Nature as a whole is way smarter than we give it credit for.
There's so much we don't know, So, and maybe someday Elon will enlighten us with our neural link.
You put a lot of faith in
I'm still
Elon.
waiting for you, Elon.
Yeah.
I want my Starlink for all my stuff, and I want my Neuralink so I can march in a straight line with all the other droids out there.
Say, you want the whole experience.
Yeah, I just want to think it and it happens.
Yeah.
I can live in Mark Zuckerberg's meta. So
You're awful progressive.
Yeah. I got nothing left here. I'm ready for some.
Ready to strap into a chair and
Hey,
just
Mike,
live a
you want to go to
virtual life.
Mars?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Sounds more fun
As
than where
long
I'm
as
at now.
as long as I'm flying first class, I ain't going in the baggage compartment.
I would hope not if it's all virtual. You still have to ride coach in the in the metaverse.
Wouldn't that suck?
Based on your economic status.
That's right. You're not. I'm sorry, sir. Your credit score means you have to fly in the back.
This sucks.
Everybody should be in first class.
Yeah.
Everybody
wins.
Yeah.
Not the case.
Not the case.
Yeah.
That's the reality of that is not it. Let's see here. So we're done pretty much with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, we get the tower done. You cut 5 meters of weld with a 6-inch cutting wheel on a 4.5-inch
40
angle
feet in the
grinder, 40 feet in the air, hanging off of one piece of rope.
There's just a lot of numerology there.
God, that's great TV.
It was. That's one of the. It was fun to do too. I mean, it really was.
Oh, sure. You're a cowboy physicist after all.
I am. And whatever that means.
One of your 12 alter egos.
Well, I can't defy gravity yet. And that's where Elon again. You got to bring it in, Elon. I need to defy gravity.
Anti-gravity suit.
Wouldn't life be so much easier? That's what. I didn't think about the Egyptians, but they
conquered gravity in their own way.
I think they were a lost civilization. They went extinct.
I think there's a lot to be said about the theory of intelligent societies that went extinct and we don't know about.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that we're the first ones to get this far.
Well, we're egocentric, so
sure.
the universe does revolve around us, in our mind. So that's a deep subject there. We could get into
What's
that.
his name? Graham Hancock, and the few Rogan episodes he did talking about ancient hyper intelligent civilizations.
Right. Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's on talking about it. So it's going to come up again. I think Elon was probably one of those. I'm sorry, I'm not picking on you, Elon. I'm a fan, and just waiting for looking for a sponsor. By the way,
wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
We couldn't get any local sponsors, but
we got Neuralink or I think Starlink is probably the best thing so far that we could use right now. I want to put it on my motorcycle.
Hell yeah.
Because it's going to be small and you're not going to need an antenna.
Yeah.
Well, you are, but there's going to be so many.
You are the antenna.
There's so many satellites up in this constellation. I think they were going to put 40,000 or better.
God, how do you have room for that up there?
Well, they're flying in their lair. Everybody's got a lair up there.
Oh, right.
I'm just amazed that of course, we don't get more debris.
I know. How is space junk not just raining down on us all the time? I guess it burns up in the atmosphere, but
well, yeah, but it's stuff that's in orbit.
Yeah,
the trash belt that's around the world. I mean, you gotta. It's like the Kuiper belt. You got to go through the Kuiper belt to get out of the solar system.
You got to go through the trash, the scrap metal belt.
That's the leftovers, of our solar system.
Also, because like I heard a statistic the other day about the International Space Station, like a speck of dust. It's traveling so fast that like a speck of dust can do actual damage. It's going at however many thousands of miles an hour. The smallest bit of space debris.
These things are not made out of very resilient stuff.
No, it has to be light.
It's thin.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. We've
we'll see the great explosion at some point.
Knock on wood. We haven't had that problem yet. We've had them in Hollywood, with Gravity, with Sandra Bullock and
Interstellar, all that stuff.
I love Gravity. It was awesome. I'm a Sandra Bullock fan.
She's awesome.
Yeah. She's aged well.
Well, back to Columbus, architectural salvage. Chris Sawyer, the guy who brought us the job, also, of course, we staged this as well, but also drove up in a truck.
Yeah.
While we were salvaging to.
So we're up there looking like, hey, there's some truckload of good stuff down there. Let's go.
And he does know how to pick. He's got a good eye.
He's got a great eye. If you haven't been to his place in Columbus, it's North Columbus, I think, right by the.
We ended up going there, I think, with the crew.
Yeah, right by the fairground. And he's got a great eye. He's got a good staff. I mean, he does it right. I'm envious of his organizations because I think Robert is too. Robert was in Nirvana.
I think he was taking notes when we were there.
No, he knows his limitations with us. That's you're not going to get this from us. That takes time. Time and people.
Yeah, patience.
And we ain't got it. But he had some good stuff on the truck. Legs, some machine legs.
Mm-hmm.
So some cool lights. They weren't. I don't know where they were from, but they just had this great look to them. The blue.
They had this like coastal vibe, sort of metal enamel lights.
Yeah,
hanging lights.
They were cool. And then I liked everything he had. And I think
you said he goes, even that light. You said, yeah, it's called patina, stupid. And he goes, I think it's stupid.
I think I was talking to Robert at that time.
Yeah, you were, not Chris. Yeah, Robert was like, you want that one, really? And you were like, yeah, it's called patina, stupid.
I didn't know Chris enough that well to start insulting him. So
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and we ended up doing some other jobs with him through the years, which we'll bring up.
Yeah,
but just a great bunch of people.
Go check them out.
Yeah, you oughta
follow them, support them. They got merch. Buy their merch. Go buy some salvage.
All that, and while you're at it, buy some from us.
Do a tour.
Yeah, so we finished the pick with him.
Yeah, you said paid $1,000 for all of it. Was that real money?
That was real money.
Yeah.
And I, obviously.
So that was staged, but that was a real sort of
negotiations were right.
Yeah.
And of course, we didn't set it up that, hey, I got $1,000. That's where I want to end up. Mm-hmm. I just said that we dickered.
You bundled.
Yeah, bundled.
Bundle for shundle.
Shavundle. and that was actual, reality, and it was fun. It was because he's got a good wit.
Yeah,
he's kind of deadpan and
smart guy, well spoken.
Yeah, just fun. He's I met his family and all. Matter of fact, he underwrote us on a show, Columbus Home Show, and brought us Robert and I in as keynote speakers.
Nice.
Yeah, and he supported us or
vouched for you.
No, whatever. Yeah, I don't know the vouching part, but whatever they call it when you underwrite something. You got time? Okay.
No, I don't know. It just vibrates.
Is that a new one?
No, I just don't always wear it. When I do, it's a huge distraction.
Yeah.
Smartwatch.
I ain't got nothing smart on me. Anyway.
Except your ticker.
Yeah. Well, it's still got a little bit going on. But anyway, Columbus Architectural Salvage. Go see him. And so we only had a couple more things left to do.
Yeah.
At this thing, and
it makes it sound easy, but
this is where we had to kind of conjure up our inner Egyptian, our alien Egyptian, or whatever it is. But because these were blocks, there were capitals
inside the building.
And in this building, I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know if you wrote it down.
Yeah, his name was Carl. with his nonprofit called FLIP, which stands for Fight, Live, Inspire, Prevent. I think his dad had cancer.
Right. Yeah.
And it was a nonprofit.
So he was buying this to become the headquarters of this nonprofit.
And obviously didn't need Eiffel Tower or giant stones laying around.
Yeah, it was just a distraction. But before he bought it, and after the French restaurant, the guy told us this was a goth fetish bar. Yeah. And I'm going like, what? There's such a thing, and I know there's such a thing.
Yeah.
There's eyes wide shut kind of thing.
I actually Googled that in preparation for this. I was hoping to find something about it. But now in my Google history is goth fetish bar, Columbus, Ohio. But whatever.
Yeah, Google knows you now. Huh? You're
Targeted ads.
The next
here
time
I come.
you see Tay's going to have real all black, black fingernails and gothed up, but. These were from the Ohio State Women's Prison.
The big stones.
All of those stones, but these two particular pieces, which we still have, by the way, because they're not easy to move.
They're enormous.
So we had to get them on a dolly and off the ground.
They were just sitting on the floor.
Yeah,
inside on the concrete floor.
So we, I think it was the debut of the Johnson bar.
Yeah, man. I don't even know. Like, I took that tool for granted so much. Like, I don't even know how to start searching for one if I wanted to buy it. But it was a giant metal pipe with a flat bar, sort of like a hand truck, but at a shallower angle.
It was a pry bar.
With two heavy wheels on it.
Everything was meant to take a real heavy load. And, I at that time, I weighed about 230.
Yeah.
And I put my ass into
everything you had.
It was going to throw me. I had a moment that says, as soon as I hit my limit, you better get something underneath that because it's going to throw me off.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did, and we just kind of kept going up and up and up until we were able to get it on a
pallet jack or something.
On a pallet jack, exactly. And then we rolled it out and put it on the trailer with the forklift that we still have.
Yep. It was funny. You got bucked off on one of them.
Yeah, I'm telling you what. I don't know what they weigh because I don't know if we had a way to weigh them.
It had to be 1,000 pounds.
At least. I mean, it might even been a ton. But it was, we put some. I always tell Grayson, you got to put some ass into it,
Yeah. Or you're not putting enough ass into it.
Well, that's all you got. Your ass is your weight, that's
Yeah.
your ballast. And just go ahead and throw it in there and get her done. And we did, of course, Robert didn't want me to chip it, and
the backside. He said, don't chip the back of it.
Yeah, the back of it.
Which was already cut up to pieces.
This thing has traveled to a goth bar. I don't think there's anything I can do to screw it up.
That would be more disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, a bandage, a couple of chips from Mike Whiteside is a plus, in its life. Matter of fact, it is one of them sitting out by our front gate. And we just move them around every, couple of years.
Yeah, I'm sure they blended into the landscape. I think a few of them are out by the dog bowl.
They're awesome. If anybody out there is interested, man, I'll make you a good deal on them. But they're just amazing pieces that'd be great for the entrance of a house or a business or
gardens,
anything.
Fountains.
Yeah, base for a table. It's that kind of at that height. But
drill a hole in it.
Now these would require some fortification of your floor if you decide to put those in there. But everybody's asking me, well, is my floor gonna fall in? I said, if this makes your floor fall in, you got a bad floor first. And that's the least of your problems. But
secondly, sign this waiver.
Yeah. We are not responsible that if this is taken and used for something illicit.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. I took a few notes here on some pieces of paper.
Well, the last thing I wrote down was where you and Robert had an interview about all your lives. You were a pirate, and then because you were a pirate, you were in prison. You could have been in prison as a pirate in another life, I think is what you said.
I don't know which one. They say I'm on my ninth one, whoever they are.
Yeah.
And so
do they?
That's what they said.
Your ninth life?
Ninth reincarnation.
How many are there?
I don't know. I don't think.
Oh, it just goes on.
I think with reincarnation, you are you're seeking nirvana. When you reach that consciousness of nirvana, then you're done.
That's the end of your journey.
That's you've met it. You're in the energy.
You feel like you're there yet?
No. I got some. It's going to be interesting if I don't can't really tell if it's true or not. But it'd be interesting to see what the next one is. But I didn't know what the first 9 were, so there you go.
Yeah, but you feel these connections to them, maybe vague. Pirate-like.
Well, yeah, I'm pirate. I pillage.
Yeah,
that was
tie some mean knots. I'm telling you.
And I'm a sailor.
And you are, maritime guy.
Yeah. So I think it probably, but I wasn't like a really bad pirate or a good pirate. I was just I was kind of like the worker pirate.
Sure.
The scrubbing the
ambivalent pirate.
Scrubbing the deck with the Blarney Stone and, down there singing hee-hoes and wearing the stripes and the hat.
Yeah.
That's kind of, that's the.
You were like Werner von Braun was to the Nazis.
That was,
he wasn't into the ideology, but he was a rocket scientist and he was just hired to make a rocket. It just so happened.
Well, I don't know
that was the first
my past lives are equal to.
That might have been a little aggressive.
Science.
I don't know why my brain went there first, but
hey, well, it's who he is. I don't know.
He's the reason we went to the moon. We stole the German scientists from World War II.
That's right. I think he had something to do with the Manhattan Project as well.
Yeah.
Which is bomb.
What a guy.
Yeah. Yes. First, he starts off in Germany with the V2 rocket, which is the Buzz rocket.
Oh yeah.
And then comes to the NASA, and I'm sure they know. Okay, we're gonna go to the moon here.
Don't aim this.
But in the meantime, let's put these rockets on, put these warheads on rockets, and send them over, to wherever, nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
It's the nuclear part that was.
Yeah, because it was the end of the war.
Yeah. So
the big exclamation point at the end.
So
of the
all
war.
we're doing is from every war we get out, we get new ideas and new discoveries, so we can go to war again.
Right.
Yeah.
Look how much better we're gonna ruin everything.
Way to go. Yeah. Way to go. Warner von Braun.
Sure.
Yeah. Later, baby. I think that's all I got. We got fetish bar. Yeah. We got the build.
Oh, didn't you get a whole cart full of mannequin arms from the fetish bar?
I did.
Am I misremember? What, they were like red and black and.
Yeah, but they weren't in the show.
Sure.
Yeah, there was a lot of other stuff that we picked up that was just kind of loose.
Yeah.
Laying around, and
I think mannequin arms was one of those things.
Grayson used them in her art at VCU. As a matter of fact, they're all in my garage now, chained together.
Weird.
Yeah, I need to let them go.
You could open your own goth fetish bar.
No, I have no idea. What's the fetish though? I got the goth part.
Whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I mean,
mannequin arms.
Who are they pandering to? It's I don't know.
It's niche.
It is
whatever
niche,
you want.
I'm
not going to kink shame.
I'm not going to put anybody in a box. I mean, whatever.
Right.
Whatever goes for you. But it's just, it was a peculiarity when we were there going like, huh, really?
And that was, some people remembered it as that when they were like, what are y'all doing at the old goth bar?
Yeah, did you hear the goth bars being taken apart?
Yeah. No.
Not the goth bar. Grandma.
The one thing I do remember was that the Eiffel Tower was lit by a professional lighting system from Vegas, apparently.
Yeah.
Side little fun tidbit.
Robert was worried I was cutting them up.
Yeah, he was trying to stay ahead of you, so he didn't ruin the expensive lights.
Well, I think that that's it. We did the whole soup to nuts, the build, the wow.
Oh, yeah. This was a very central episode.
Yeah.
It was baked around
This is one of the ones that kind of created the template. And we were getting our stuff put together.
It's that era.
It had the components now, the wow, the round table, the build, and these stayed as part of our programming for the duration.
You guys are all continuing to get more comfortable in the interviews too, laughing and poking around.
Yeah. I don't think we introduced the 2-beer interview yet.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't think so.
If anything, I feel like that was how they had to start because y'all were nervous.
No, nerves had nothing to do with it. It was, keeping Robert entertained and it was, so how that started, I don't know if this was it or it was one earlier or after. I think it was one after that. when we were interviewing, because sometimes you just show up and start talking. It's no preparation for us except, hey, we look at the director and going like, where are we? What are we doing?
Right, because we're interviewing afterwards.
And they would ask us questions off camera, and we'd respond from there. And sometimes it just got, we just weren't in the greatest mood, but you had to show up. So I think it just turned out one day I said, well, it's kind of a crappy day. How about a beer?
Yeah, that'll loosen it up.
And so right away the PA takes off, gets a beer. It wasn't far away, by the way.
Yeah.
And, hey, that was pretty good. And then for the next part of the interview, we had one more. And that was the perfect amount.
Yeah, the bell curve.
If you did a 3-beer interview, it just went off the rails too easily. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but
probably couldn't use most of it.
No. And it just went off the rails, and that's it. So that's part of the magic, you can tell.
They were always out of frame, just out of frame on the floor.
Oh, yeah. We couldn't.
Candy and beer.
We couldn't do any product placement. I was a Modelo guy, and Robert was, of course, Miller Lite.
I'd swap her. Anything but Bud Light for me was my.
And that was Ted's beer. Yeah. Everybody had their beer, I had a Mexican. You were IPAs.
Ideally IPAs, but that's not sustainable, really.
No, you can't.
One IPA is the same as 3 Modelos.
Yeah. Yeah. A beer I can drink just once.
Yeah.
But everything else is everything going okay with you?
Yeah, on the most part. I just finished a big railing job, so I got to close that invoice. So I can breathe. I'm actually taking my foot off the gas a little bit.
Well, you have to,
staying as busy as I want to be.
Keep it in gear, though. Keep it moving. But, back off the accelerator.
But I'm not like panicking right now.
See what's going on with us. Next week, Friday and Saturday, but Friday night, not tomorrow, but the week from, we're going to be in Norfolk.
Yes.
At the MacArthur Museum. Not MacArthur. Chrysler Museum.
Yes, right.
It's Chrysler Museum, Art Museum, and our best glassblower, Grace Whiteside, will be performing there. She has a skit or a...
Well, Grace does a lot of performance art.
Performance art, yeah.
And weaves their practice of glassblowing into these artistic performances.
And, a lot of them have to do with human rights and trans and queer. But this one's going to be interesting. Your mom's worried that it's going to be a bunch of dildos hanging around. But I don't think it's going to be that graphic, but it may
hilarious.
It could be hilarious.
I think about Grace made a wind chime out of glass.
Oh yeah, she's irreverent. I love her. But we're going to be in.
I'm sorry if that word's offensive.
If you're around, it's going to be fun. Just come out and see us. We're going to be at the Chrysler Museum Friday night. It starts at 8 o'clock.
Today's the 30th. You're listening to this on April...
It's Monday. 4th?
April 3rd.
Yeah.
And this would be April 8th.
7th,
the Friday.
7th. Yeah. So that's just one little tidbit of the arts with the Whitesides.
Yeah. And otherwise, just support Grace's glass business. GetStickyGlass.com.
And at the same time, support Tay's business. Tay's got so much content online these days. You guys are YouTube phenoms now.
Yeah, man, it's blowing up. YouTube's helping pay the bills, which is awesome.
I can't wait till YouTube starts to help me pay some bills.
Yeah, like and subscribe on Black Dog's YouTube if you haven't already. I don't know why you haven't. It's almost insulting that you haven't already.
Oh, it's okay. We're not for
it's
everybody.
It's free. Yeah. Yay! Well, if they've made it to this part of the episode, I'd hazard a guess that they're at least somewhat interested. Yeah. If you've listened to an hour of us do this,
an hour is perfect. We're at 58 minutes right now, so I don't think we've ever gone over much.
No,
and we're not going to today.
That's it. So, let's get out of here.
Let's go home. Thank you for the seltzer.
My pleasure.
And blackdogsalvage.com. You'll find us on every social media platform.
Go buy an Eiffel Tower.
.com. Later, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks for listening.
Oh man, that's awesome. That effect. Ciao, baby.
Bye.